Rules obviously are applied dynamically once they're edited as such. So I'm not sure what we're trying to do here in terms of um, uh, having the rules scheduled. We can obviously control what goes on within the environment by having a scheduled task. We can have scheduled task profiles, and then we can have the actions as part of the scheduled task profile. So let's say, for example, we have our workstation rule for all our devices. If I change something within that workstation rule, it's going to be applied immediately to all devices. I can't say don't apply it now, apply it at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening instead. But if what I'm applying is a task, for example, then I can use the scheduled task profiles to control that as such. So I could come in here and click on scheduled task profiles. I'll click on add to create a new scheduled task profile, scheduled task profiles. I'll click on add to create a new scheduled task profile. And this could be something like, run a script or push a third-party software application. I'll just use, flush DNS, for example, as a simple common issue here. So I'll just do flush DNS, and we'll choose it from our repository. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to choose flush DNS, and I'm going to say Thursdays at 8 p.m., for example. So I'm then going to go in and go to my schedule. I'm going to run this on a once-off basis, and maybe it's only next Thursday that I want to run it or something, or I'm going to run it on a recurring basis. So in this, I want to run every Thursday. So I'm going to come in here and say custom period of time, select the time. We said 8 p.m., so we'll choose 2200 hours. And we'll pop that, or 2000 hours, excuse me, and then I'll select the day of the week. I'll choose Thursday in here. I can obviously only run at the specified time as well, but if there's a task that you want to run, if the machine's offline, you do have the option of triggering that as well. But we only want this task to run at a designated time, so we're going to set it up. So I'm going to go ahead and save that task. And actually, if there's multiple things that we want to run at that time, we can obviously include multiple scripts in here. I'm just going to call this flush DNS. Cancel out of this here. So pop it in flush DNS. I'm going to pop a little star in the front of it so I remember to delete it after the session today. Can't put in stars in here. We'll put an underscore instead. And we're going to go ahead and save that as such. So once you've created your scheduled task profile, which could just be one schedule or multiple schedules, you can then add that to your rules. So if I come to monitoring and rules, and if it's workstations that we want to target, for example, I can use an existing rule. Now, bear in mind, if it's just one customer, you can create a specific rule for it as well. So I can come in here and add it to an existing rule, where I can say I want to apply it right across the board. So if I have my workstation Windows rule, you'll see one of the tabs in the middle is the scheduled task profile. And if I add my flush DNS across here now, that will apply to the devices immediately, but because it's on a schedule in the profile, it will only run at the desired time as such. Now, if you wanted to, if you wanted to run it for a specific customer, you don't want to add it to one of kind of pre-existing rules, then you just create a new rule for it. So you click on add, you give it a name, you choose what devices you want to target by selecting a filter, and that could be predefined filter or a custom filter you use. Again, you click on scheduled task profiles, you add it across in here, and then you can obviously cherry pick. So if we're only doing it in Celtic Cider Company, for example, we can just select that and the sites that we want to apply it to as well. So there are a couple of ways you can address that in here, Matthew. Matthew goes on to ask, I've come across Connect to Help and thought it was a great way of getting used to profile rules. It seems the documentation may be a bit out of date. Are there plans to update the documentation on that? Connect to Help still being developed. In terms of development of Connect to Help, it's kind of like a tool that serves a purpose as such. For anyone of you who doesn't know what Connect to Help is, it's our system tray icon that you can use to deploy Vianand Central. If you're not familiar with Connect to Help, you can download it from the Enable Resource Center. So it's not actually in the Success Center. You need to have access to Enable Resource Center. You can obviously find it through the Success Center or link it in there as such. What it'll actually give you is an application, and I'll just bring it up on my machine here so you can see what the configuration tool looks like. So did I click on Connect to Help? Apologies now. Yep, here we go. Too many screens open. So here we have our Connect to Help editor. So what this allows us to do is actually build a system tray icon with our own branding, logo, look and feel, with numerous menu items that our customer may benefit from. So we can choose an existing tray icon, or we can create a new one. Under the icons tab, you can define the system tray icon, so you can put your own company logos in here. I like to color coordinate them if they're in a failed or if the agent status is unknown. So visually, I can ask the customer and say, what's our logo? What color is our logo? If it's traffic lights, for example, then we can say, oh, green is good. Red is failed and yellow is unknown, for example, as well. We can also customize the pop-up text, and then we can have the branding in here as well. Ooh, SolarWinds, well, we'll get rid of that quickly. So we'll pop that off there. So we're back to enable now, but we have the wrong color. So then we just need to start changing to our purples and our blacks and our teals as well. So we can choose to adjust the colors in here so it lines up with our company branding, but obviously you can have it to reflect your company branding as well. And then you can select the image in here as well. So if you want to put a logo, for example, you can pop that up in here as well. And you can customize what these do, with these titles may be. So you might put enable, you might put your own company, you can put in PC info, for example. As you can see, as you build these policies out, it updates to reflect what you're doing as well. And then you define the menu items here. So you can have a link to a website. This could be a support page. This could be a ticketing portal, for example. You have the option to add commands in here. So if you want to put in a little ping command to an external DNS server because you don't want to talk to the end user through opening up command prompt and typing it in, you can include these as such. And you can actually have an email as well. That uses the PCR tool on your Windows devices to actually record the screens, and it's a handy way of your end user documenting what the issue they're having is, and sending that up to your help desk as such. So you could have a short description of the problem. You can prompt the actual template as well. So when you run through this, then you build up your installers and you get a summary of here, and you can obviously play around with this as well. You can actually click on it in real time and it'll pop up with little windows in here to show that it's working as well. So once we're happy everything is configured, what we're going to do then is we're going to get our installer and we're going to upload it to our scripts and software repository. So we'll do that within our N-central environment. Typically speaking, when you install any application via N-central, it does require silent installers. So you may have to put in /qn/i or /silent, for example. Once it's uploaded to your repository, then you can, as we've seen previously, create a scheduled task profile that deploys it and then push it out to a rule as such.